When I was 26, fresh out of business school, my father's company was teetering on the edge of ruin. The strain had worn him down, aging him far beyond his years. My older brother, Nathan, 5 years my senior, was nowhere to be found. Too busy living a carefree life while I drowned in financial reports and operational chaos. Nathan's effortless charm always made him the family favorite, despite his lack of effort. It stung, but I'd grown accustomed to it. The moment that changed everything came one night when I found Dad slumped over his desk, surrounded by unpaid bills and failed contracts. He didn't see me at first, but when he did, he whispered, "It's over, son, I can't save this." His words hit me like a blow, not with anger, but with determination. I told him I'd handle it. Exhausted, he didn't protest. From that moment, I poured my life into the company. I immersed myself in its operations, uncovering every flaw. I pored over accounts, renegotiated deals, and reached out to clients we'd lost. Most dismissed me as a young, unproven upstart. Rejection became routine, but I kept pushing forward. Slowly, persistence paid off. Skeptics began to listen. That first year was brutal. 16-hour days were the norm. Dad remained the public face, but I was making the decisions. I cut unnecessary expenses, including Nathan's tendency to treat the company as his personal ATM. He didn't take it well. One day, he strolled into the office, smirking. "Look at you acting like the boss," he said. "Don't get too comfortable. Dad will never hand you the reins." I brushed him off. This wasn't about ego. It was about saving my father's legacy. By the end of the year, we were breaking even, not flourishing, but surviving. Clients returned and employees felt secure again. We were building something real, but old wounds lingered. Dad praised the turnaround, but still favored Nathan. At family dinners, he'd talk up Nathan's potential, while I sat quietly planning the company's next steps. It wasn't fair, but I didn't need his approval. My focus was on creating something enduring. Over the next few years, the company thrived. We introduced innovative products, embraced new technology, and expanded into markets we'd never imagined. Revenue soared from near bankruptcy to 8 figures, then 9. It was surreal to see a dying business become an industry leader. But beneath the success, tension brewed. As the company grew, Nathan started showing up more, acting as if he'd been part of the journey all along. His charm won people over, but those who knew the truth stayed silent, even Dad. I should have seen it as a warning. Nathan hated sharing the spotlight. His jabs about my relentless work ethic carried a bitter undertone, like he was scheming. I sensed it but didn't act, my first misstep. By the time we hit $150 million in revenue, the cracks were obvious. I just didn't realize how deep they ran. The shareholders' meeting felt strange from the start. Dad's email about a major announcement had an unsettling tone. I assumed it was about his retirement. He'd been hinting at stepping down for years. I wasn't concerned. I'd been running things behind the scenes forever, so making me CEO seemed like a formality. Nathan arrived late, flashing his usual grin and shaking hands. He gave me a sly wink that twisted my stomach, not with fear but suspicion. Dad walked in, looking tired but determined. He spoke at length about the company's journey, then dropped a bombshell. "It's time for me to step back. After careful consideration, I've chosen Nathan as the new CEO." The room tilted. Nathan, the guy who'd barely contributed, I looked at him. He wasn't surprised. He'd known. Before I could process it, Nathan stood, holding a folder like a weapon. "I need to address something serious," he said, his tone laced with false concern. He flipped through pages, accusing me of mismanagement, unauthorized deals, risky decisions, damage to the company's reputation. It was a carefully crafted performance, heavy on accusations but light on evidence. I tried to respond, but Dad cut me off. "Let him finish." Nathan ended with a sanctimonious line about safeguarding the company's values. Then Dad delivered the final blow. "Based on this, I'm terminating Jacob's role, effective immediately." Security appeared at the door. I didn't fight. What could I say? The decision was made long before I entered the room. As I packed my things, Nathan leaned in and whispered, "Just business, little brother." It wasn't about the company. It was about him winning. I left with my head held high, but inside I was reeling. My phone buzzed with messages from stunned colleagues and confused board members, but I ignored them. I needed clarity. Driving home, I replayed everything. How had I missed this? Nathan's sudden involvement, Dad's secrecy, the board's distance. It was all there. I'd been too focused on running the company to see the betrayal coming. At home, I sat in the dark, piecing it together. Why had Dad chosen Nathan after all I'd done? Was it favoritism? Denial? Did he think I was replaceable? One thing was clear. I was out and Nathan was in. But he wasn't as clever as he thought. While Nathan celebrated, he didn't realize I'd built more than a company. I'd built a safety net. I wasn't going to confront him directly. That's what he expected, a chance to paint me as bitter. Instead, I played smarter. I'd show them who truly built this empire. First, I reached out to loyal employees, the unsung heroes in IT, development, and management who'd stuck with me through the tough years. I didn't reveal everything, just asked them to trust me and hold off on any major decisions. They agreed without hesitation, a testament to where their loyalty lay. Then I turned to the company's infrastructure. Years ago, I'd created a subsidiary to manage our critical assets, patents, contracts, proprietary software. On paper, it was a small entity. In reality, it was the company's backbone, and I controlled it entirely. I'd kept it under wraps, anticipating a move like Nathan's. Dad's blind spot for him was no secret. Over the weekend, I compiled evidence of Nathan's failures: wasted budgets, missed deadlines, questionable deals with competitors. Some were minor, others were devastating. By Sunday, I had a dossier that could ruin him. But I didn't want to destroy him. That was too easy. I wanted to prove why I'd been the one to save the company. Monday morning, I watched the chaos unfold from my home office. Nathan hadn't thought to revoke my network access. I activated a script that redirected all internal communications to a server I controlled. Then I accessed Nathan's computer. His password was still his old college jersey number, and uploaded a video to his desktop, set to autoplay. The video calmly outlined his worst decisions, backed by documents. By 8:30 a.m., the office was in disarray. Nathan arrived, smug as ever, and started his computer. The video played, his face turning red as he tried to stop it. Every screen in the office looped the same file. Meanwhile, emails detailing Nathan's misconduct landed in the inboxes of board members, managers, and investors, each explained with cold precision. Then federal agents arrived. I'd anonymously tipped them off about Nathan's shadier deals, and they wanted answers. The IT team resigned en masse, announcing they'd joined my subsidiary. Their email ended with, "We stand with the one who built this." Nathan unraveled. He called it no response. He called Dad voicemail. He even tried me. I didn't answer. By noon, the board called an emergency meeting. The security feed showed it was tense. Hours later, Nathan was escorted out. I didn't gloat. This wasn't revenge, it was accountability. Nathan had relied on charm, but he couldn't handle the real responsibility. Dad had made his choice, and I held the power now. The news spread quickly. By evening, whispers of resignations and Nathan's exit were everywhere. By morning, headlines screamed of scandal. The stock crashed, investors pulled out, and the company's core assets, now under my control, left it hollow. Nathan had inherited a shell. I stayed out of the spotlight, focusing on the employees. I sent an email offering them positions at my new company, same roles, better benefits, and genuine leadership. By day's end, 94% had joined, many with heartfelt responses. They trusted me, not the mess Nathan left behind. Nathan's troubles grew. By midweek, reports of his fraud and embezzlement hit the news. He'd funneled money through fake vendors and sold client data to rivals. The scale shocked even me. He faced charges, posted bail, but his reputation was ruined. The media painted him as a symbol of entitlement gone wrong. Dad went silent, likely grappling with his son's betrayal. The board scrambled, but without assets or leadership, the company was finished. Investors sued, employees left, and the stock became worthless. Nathan tried a desperate interview, claiming he was set up. No one believed him. A week later, Dad called. "We need to talk. Your mother and I are coming tomorrow." I didn't respond. I knew why. The company's collapse had wiped out their savings. They weren't coming to apologize. They needed help. They arrived at my new office, looking older than ever. Dad spoke first, his voice heavy. "You've made your point, Jacob. We need to fix this." I leaned back. "Fix what? Nathan's disaster, the company you let him destroy. Or your empty bank account?" Mom flinched. Dad tried again. "We're family, we have to stick together." I nearly laughed. Family? After years of favoring Nathan, firing me publicly. "You don't get to play that card," I said. "You knew Nathan wasn't capable, you chose him anyway." Mom started to speak, but I stopped her. "Don't defend him. You both enabled this." Silence. Then Dad admitted, "We're in trouble, our savings are gone, we could lose everything." There it was, money. I exhaled. "I'll help. I'll buy your shares at their original price, enough for your house and retirement. But there are conditions." Dad's eyes narrowed. "Conditions? 1, you sign a non-disclosure agreement, no talking about Nathan or the company. 2, you retire completely, no meddling. 3, the money goes through a trustee. Big expenses need approval." Mom looked shocked, but Dad stopped her. "It's the best we'll get," he said. They agreed. I stood. "Papers will be ready tomorrow, funds transfer in 48 hours. As they left, Dad said, "You're tougher than I realized." I didn't respond. His words meant nothing. When they signed, I felt no victory, just closure. I turned to my new company. Most employees and clients had followed me. We were open, weekly meetings, transparent finances. A developer thanked me one day, saying it was the first time he felt valued. That meant more than any title. By the first quarter, we were thriving. Revenue grew, clients stayed, and we launched a revolutionary product. The old company, a cautionary tale buried in lawsuits and worth nothing. Nathan faded, his name toxic. Dad and Mom lived quietly, bound by the NDA. 3 years later, I still reflect. Not with regret, but with amazement at how I persevered. My company's a leader now, respected, innovative. The team is my pride, not the profits. I don't need to prove myself anymore. I've built something real, and for the first time, I'm at peace.